This is video 3 of the summer lake trout series. Now this is a bait I've actually almost never shown on the channel, but it is the bait, the lure that I give to clients that don't listen when I'm guiding. It's not that they don't listen, is that they don't get the whole aspect of staying still. So most of the time you guys see me just like literally dangling the line over the side of the boat and using electronics to have a fish come and chase that bait. So it's a dead stick method. I have clients that just want to stay active and want to move the whole time. It is effective and sometimes it's not effective. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you guys how to actually jig, the word jig, a Castmaster or a jigging spoon. Now it's really hard to find good jigging spoons. Castmaster makes stuff all the way from like 1/8 of an ounce all the way up to 2 ounces. It's the stuff that I use in my boat. The first thing that I do is take off the standard hook in these smaller ounce ranges. I don't know what it is about that hook, but it is just not a good hook. So what I've been switching over to are these Sonar ST36BCX, and this is size 6 for the Castmaster that's about this long. So this is a smelt-based lake that I'm fishing in. Most of the bait in this lake is anywhere between 1 inches all the way up to 4 or 5 inches at the max. And we literally do not need to use electronics for this method. We're gonna take the standard hook off, and I'm gonna show you how to, not how to do it, but you need split ring pliers. These are Cast Kings. I bought these years ago. They're completely rusty, but they have that little like hook point right there. That little point, that's so you can get into the split ring and open it and switch out to those Sonar hooks. So I'll leave those Sonar hooks, if I can find them on Amazon, I'll leave the link down for those down below as always. Tie that on. We're running a 15-pound Power Pro braid, and then this is a very short leader. This is like 6 feet. I should be running a lot longer in this lake. And then that's a double uni knot between the two, and then we're running a polymer knot to the spoon. You can, and I highly suggest running a swivel or some sort of swivel on here. It will twist up your line, but I'm being lazy and not doing that today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop it down, and we are gonna throttle it on the way down. So see how I'm throttling it with my fingers? Throttling it, that allows it to drop straight down instead of off at an angle, which allows us to stay vertical when we're jigging just a little bit nicer. And it prevents the hook from fouling itself, which is a big issue with spoons. So I've hit bottom, I've checked my drag. This is a very cheap reel. I've gone tight to the line, and then I'm just gonna snap it off bottom here. Now this is exactly what I tell clients to do. Don't need to look at a screen. What's gonna happen is a laker will either eat this thing on the fall on the way down. Now this is obviously a bigger spoon to show, but what's gonna happen is a laker will either eat this spoon on the way down, or he will pin it, or she will pin it right to bottom, thinking it's a dying fish. So we are just gonna keep smashing this on bottom here. And it is absolutely crucial to have it hit bottom. So if I'm standing here at the edge of the boat, I wanna make sure that my line is slack every time. We don't need spot lock for this. All we need is a heavy enough spoon to kind of stay contact with bottom. And we need our drag tight enough so when I do snap up, I am setting the hook into the fish, because it's not a feel bite most of the time. And this technique works on every sort of structure. Doesn't matter if it's a hump or ledge, doesn't matter. Just, ooh, I think I just had one. And if I was to tell anybody, if you have like completely finicky lake trout that are just giving you a hard time with either swim baits or tubes, I almost always switch over to a spoon. I don't always show it on camera, but that's what I switch to. It is more of a reaction bite. They see something shiny that's flickering around, like this dying minnow or dying bait, dying smelt, and they'll just absolutely clobber it. And there's also days where they're just on spoons. I don't know what it is. I have a theory, bear with me here. I have a theory that I've proven multiple times, so more of it's more of like an actual situation more than a theory or hypothesis, is I'm a pair of lake trout, I'm roaming around, I find a school of bait, whether it's alewife or whitefish or whatever bait is in your lake. In this lake it's smelt, like I said before. And what they're doing is they are eating that bait all morning long, whatever. And every once in a while we can just rip it to the surface as well. That usually draws in a lot of fish. They're eating that bait, pounding the school of bait all the time, right? And what's going to happen is they'll eventually stun some bait, so much so that it just floats down to the bottom. And I think that's what they think the spoon is. It's acting the same, it's doing the same thing. It's fluttering to the bottom. Easy food for a lake trout. Lake trout are fairly lazy unless they want to be in that chasing mood. So we're going to try this spot. This is one of my my go-to spots first. We're just in a basin area next to a little ledge. And now that we pounded bottom a bunch, and I want you to get the heaviest spoon you think you can get away with. So right now this is probably a 3/8 of an ounce or something like that. And we can also just rip it to the surface, like literally right to the surface. This is a 1000 size reel. It's a little bit slower than my normal reel. And throttle it on your way down. Now, you will get hits on the way down as well. They are extremely hard to feel, unless it's a lot bigger fish that actually like picks it up and runs with it. So don't expect to get hit on the fall. Or don't expect to feel it, if that makes any sense. And literally right now we're just drifting. There's no anchor down, there's no spot lock down. We are inherently covering some water compared to what I normally do, which is to stay in one spot. And we want to make sure that we hit the bottom, lock our rod underneath our elbow. So this is a Cabela's, or actually a Bass Pro Fish Eagle rod. It's a medium light, because I meant to buy the medium, and I ended up actually liking the medium light, especially for clients. It's got a decent bend to it. We want something that's a little bit lighter for spoons, just because we don't want to throw those treble hooks. Gotta have this thing hit the bottom of the lake. And now that we've smashed it a bunch on the bottom, we can actually jig in the middle of the water column. You really can't do much wrong with a spoon, which is another reason why I give it to clients that don't want to play the wait and run technique. So I just had a fish chase me. I am using electronics just because it's kind of a habit, but I got two fish right next to me. I'm gonna bring them right to bottom. Now there is one big issue with jigging spoons, which is another reason I don't use them that much in my videos, is they are hard to see on sonar just because they have that skinny profile and your sonar is staring at the very top part of that. So it's a hard target to track unless you get something a lot bigger, like something like this, which is a hard metal, poured metal or a lead kind of stick bait. And you can also cast out spoons as far as you want. Heavier the spoon, bomb that thing out there, let it hit bottom, and literally just pop it on the way back. I was with clients the other day, and they're like, oh, you could fish too if you want. I'm like, all right, sure. And so I literally just bombed a spoon out and literally lured fish into us, which I do tell clients I do occasionally. Got him. That one was a sonar chase, but I would have caught him anyways. And so that rod is staying nice and bent. Just a little guy. Just a little guy. Nice, pretty laker. Going right back in. All right, let's see if we can't catch another one. We'll try this little bait for a little bit longer. So we're back to throttling the spoon down, which I won't tell clients to do really. This is just a personal preference really. Just helps it get snagged less on itself. And I got a couple Lakers coming up to it right now, but I'm gonna ignore them and bring them right to bottom. Got him! That was too easy. Literally just smashed it off bottom 1 second. Literally, I ignored the fish that was on the screen and just sent it right to bottom and got him. Now there is one issue with jigging spoons like this, snap jigging, is you will foul fish occasionally. And I'll show you how to prevent that here in a minute. And the Lakers run small in this lake, so on the smaller end of small for this lake. But they are super freaking fun. So see how my line's all twisted up here, and I actually had an issue with my line being wrapped. So let's put a swivel on it, it'll help you. So what you can do to prevent some snagging is run a single side wash hook on it. So right now these are number 6s just because of the size, and I try to upsize like one size bigger than the whatever like Cast Master kind of like recommends or what it comes stock with. That seems to help just with hookup ratio, and that running that single hook will help a lot with snagging fish and the release of fish, obviously. And if I knew where my bolt cutters were or my hook cutters, I would just cut off that. So there's more down there right now. And I've had it eat it right off the bottom too. It's kind of ridiculous. Just snapping it, letting it hit bottom, snap it, let it hit bottom. And so on Sonar, I can see them literally diving down there for it. They will miss it a lot more times than you think. I've seen it more on underwater camera. Like they are just diving all around for it, looking for it. And sometimes they just can't find it. Oh! Hope you guys saw that. He was all over it, obviously. And once I do get a little tight hook up like that, I will do a little bit smaller taps. I know there's a fish down there on bottom. And like I said, we can always do the runaway technique, so I'm gonna start running it towards the surface here. And I will not stop. I will run it right to the surface. I've had fish come screaming almost out of the water for spoons. It's kind of ridiculous. And we want to keep our rod tip as close to the water as possible, so I have the most amount of like hook setability when we are ripping it. I'm ignoring them, I'm ignoring them. Ooh, he hit it on the way down. Tip wrapped, tip wrapped, tip wrapped. Run a swivel, guys, run a swivel. I'm gonna try jigging it in the middle of the water column here. Now, I would say it's not as effective as using electronics and running away. Just because I do that technique a lot more than this. But I have had clients put on a clinic with a jigging spoon right next to somebody who's using one of my swim baits. So it depends on the mood of the fish, really. And you can do this with as a cheap or as expensive rod as you want. That's the glory of the jigging spoon. It doesn't really matter the action. We just don't want something that's super, like, I guess a drop shot rod where it's like all the bend is right in the tip here for sensitivity. You want something that is, even like the cheaper ugly sticks, which are like bulletproof rods, have more of a parabolic bend to them, or more of a nice arch. So we're just gonna take this spoon, bomb it out there 50, 60 feet. And we're just gonna let it hit bottom. All right, it's hit bottom. Always check your drag. So after, if I'm fighting a fish, I will adjust my drag. So it's hit bottom. And I'm gonna do the same thing when I'm gonna do it at the angle that I cast it out to, so the opposite angle. And once I feel like it's, I don't know, probably 25% back, I can just reel it towards the surface. And I've gotten quite a few hookups doing that as well. Oh, I missed him again. Put a swivel on, folks. I'm having too much line twist issues here. So I can feel my spoon is fouled. It gets like weirdly heavy. And it feels like I'm missing fish, and that's why. So even when it's like that, rarely will you get a hookup when your spoon's like that. You'll get bit, but there's not enough hook hanging out for them to get hooked up. Now, spoons probably are like the oldest bait known to mankind for jigging for Lakers. It's just one of those baits that just always works. Trolling spoons works, casting spoons work, jigging spoons also work. It's just that reaction bite out of that lake trout that's really doing all of the work for you. Now, the other methods that I teach, you know, the wait and run with the jigging, is you're reacting to the fish, not the fish reacting to your bait. So it's a little bit different. You're a little more in charge of what's happening. Got it. Small one. Bomb to cast out there. It's a bunch of lake trout in that direction. Now this lake is going to burp. Well, maybe not. Yeah, smaller one still. Another little guy. Let's try that again. Bomb it out there. Let it hit bottom. So you just can't go wrong with the spoon. And if you're doing a lot of catch and release like I do, just because it's super, super fun, get a single side wash hook, right? Oh, there's so many fish down there. All right, I just hit bottom. All right, just bombed a different spoon out there, wrong bottom. And I have a fish on already. That was not planned. They must have hit it on the way down. That was a little ridiculous. Another one. Show you guys how to put on one of those hooks. So super, super sticky hook. Take your split ring pliers. You can use your fingernails too, but and then we want to just hopefully this can see that. Just split it like that. Start it. And then make sure you spin it all the way on there, otherwise it will 100% break there. So that last fish literally ate it on the way down. So another quick tip, the skinnier the metal of the spoon, the more it will scope out, which is why I do that throttling technique, which is like, you know, throttling your line on the way down. And that's hard to explain unless you're feeling it, but your line will start scoping off like that, like, you know, anything from straight up and down. So let me talk about scope here. So I'm gonna purposely scope this spoon. So I think I can do it. So see how it's kind of like darting off like that? We don't want that. It'll take forever to sink down there. So let me get it vertical and throttle it down like that. See how fast it drops? We want to get to the strike zone as fast as possible. I'm throttling it down with my fingers there, just keeping it as vertical as I can. Now obviously if you got a lot of current, go to a heavier Castmaster or that style spoon. Eventually I will come out with a spoon or a limited release of these style spoons. I just haven't found a good option for it quite yet. And this, you know, I use this style size spoon for, you know, Lakers that are 30 inches plus. I mean, they just absolutely destroy it. And I didn't upgrade the treble on these. These trebles come pretty sturdy. Oh my goodness, they're chasing me down. So we have a couple Lakers down there right now. Ooh, got him. So one thing nice about spoons is they will hit it on the way down compared to swim baits. I wouldn't say swim baits is like 1 or 2%. It seems like for the lakes that I fish. In the net. Back in he goes. So this is what I'll be releasing at some point here. Half metal, half paint. All right guys, if you want to support the channel, visit benditfish.com where I sell baits and probably this jigging spoon since it was very productive today. And if you want to learn more about lake trout, either click here or click here. And this is video number 3 of the summer lake trout playlist of 2025. I have another playlist from last year. The more I learn, the more I teach, and I'll see you on one of those next videos.